As I was saying, the war of words only going to heat up on demonetization as the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh reiterates his loot and plunder jibe on demonetization. Now the Finance Minister has written a blog lauding his government's big strike on black money in terms of demonetization. Jaitley wrote in his blog, 8th November is a watershed moment for India.
Tomorrow, as you know, we'll be celebrating the anniversary of demonetization. Your critics say it was a disaster. The government says it was an outstanding success. The aim, of course, was to bring down black money or curtail it completely. What is, in your opinion, the success in this particular mission?
If you look back, I think a step like demonetization, and if you link it to various steps that the government has taken in the last 3 to 4 years, I think we've succeeded in really bringing to the center stage the whole issue of how financial transactions in India really ought to be carried out. A high cash dominated society with all the aberrations which excessive cash has, should a country which aspires to become a developed country or which claims to be the fastest growing amongst the major economies in the world survive on that? If we honestly search ourselves and ask a question, was it possible to buy a real estate in India without paying part of the consideration in cash? Weren't a very large number of businesses in India maintaining 2 sets of account books? Haven't we reached a stage in India where it was a way of life not to pay taxes? Or not to pay proper taxes itself. Now, do we allow this status quo to continue? Or do you set in reverse a process where India realizes that developed nations or aspirational nations have to behave differently? And therefore, I think what Prime Minister Modi did was, not only with the demonetization, but also with a large number of other steps that he led the country into, the 3 or 4 immediate advantages that we got was, does India need to shrink the quantum of its cash currency? The answer is yes, and that process has begun. The first year itself has seen a shrinkage. 2, will India's tax base increase? Are those discussions only meant for the budget day evening that we need to increase the tax GDP ratio, and throughout the year every time you take a step you just make a critical comment on it? No, we are very happy dealing in cash. And therefore this is one step where the number of people filing returns is actually going up. And this is in the individual segment. I'm not talking of the corporate segment itself. Are the number of digital transactions going up? Look at the kind of debate which is taking place in the whole banking system and the fintech industry now. It was only credit cards or debit cards or your Beam apps or your various forms of money transfers which are now taking place. You nudged the process for greater tax compliances, you've nudged the process for greater digitalization and for shrinking currencies. Take advantages like more monies coming officially into the stock market. Direct impact. More monies coming into the life insurances. The squeeze of money into the terrorist hands. Any serious analyst of the situation of the Maoists in Chhattisgarh or the insurgents in Kashmir will tell you, why is it that the stone throwers who used to come in thousands have disappeared because those organizations didn't have that liquid cash left anymore. In fact, some of the security experts link the effort to have the raids on the banks with the inadequacy of cash available with them. Some people tried to confuse this whole idea that, oh, merely because people managed to get their monies into the banking system, demonetization has not succeeded.
Let me now go across to National Affairs Editor Rahul Srivastav for more on this. Rahul, the loot and plunder jibe versus, it is an attempt, a structural reform for a more formalized economy. This continues. Tomorrow is going to be another big clash between the opposition and the government as the government celebrates, and the opposition is only going to go ahead and, in fact, tell people about the negative impacts of demonetization.
I guess what we can say is that the first anniversary of demonetization has fallen back in the middle of a make or break Gujarat election. And if you see over the last 1 month, Rahul Gandhi of the Congress Party, Vice President of the Congress Party, who is on the verge of being coronated as the man in command of the grand old party, has built up a battle with the central government led by Prime Minister Modi, who was the Chief Minister of Gujarat at one time. And it was his Modi model and Gujarat model which was talked about and got him a victory in 2014. This time around, the battle is over economics. And if battle is over economics, a tectonic like demonetization and the second one back-to-back like GST is going to be occupy the center stage. 1 day ahead of the first anniversary of demonetization, ex-Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has launched a scathing attack in which he has repeated the term, the loot and organized loot and plunder term, perhaps to target the central government campaign that in Gujarat especially, where the BJP is trying to talk about the benefits which have accrued to Gujarat because of the 3.5 years or 4 years of rule at the center by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And in a very strong counter, if the opposition is celebrating a Black Day tomorrow, the BJP is celebrating Anti-Black Money Day. And Finance Minister has launched a scathing attack. He has talked about how there was an attempt to maintain status quo as far as black money and structural changes are concerned. He has talked about the fact that how there needed to be a greater digitization, greater attempt to reduce the amount of cash in the economy.
Right, Rahul.
All these, the Finance Minister says, are the positives, while Manmohan Singh says there are too many negatives.
Well, as you were saying, the Gujarat election is going to be extremely crucial to decide which way this debate actually settles down to, the demonetization debate. Thank you so much for joining us with all those details.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.